Okay, we're gonna do that again.
Yeah. Melissa's so good with that.
Yes, she keeps me honest. So like I was saying before I remembered to hit the record button, so Carolyn and I met a couple of years ago. She is a professional hair and makeup artist. And so right now is a bit of a weird time, right, that we're in. And I thought, why not have her share her expertise with us virtually, because we're all putting our faces on the camera in some way or another, or maybe we're just collecting some fun knowledge to use when we're back out in public, which hopefully is going to be sooner rather than later. So you're going to start with a look that is pretty simple, right? Mm-hmm. And then we'll do some questions kind of in the middle, and then we'll do some fun stuff for when we actually get back out in public, and then questions at the end if you have them also. So take it away.
All right. So now is also a good time, since maybe not every day you're on camera with people, is to do more intense skincare treatments for yourself. So wearing a mask maybe while you're like cleaning the house, or because we're cleaning all the time, right?
Sure.
And or when you're doing the dishes, or just lounging around reading a book. And then Arbonne has these nice little eye masks that are great to just pop on and then go about your life. And then they have a few other different ones as well, which all sound amazing, and for any issue that you possibly have, especially if anybody is a little stressed, which I'm sure a lot of people are going through a little extra stress nowadays.
What do you mean? I don't know.
So the Rescue and Renew mask would definitely be really good for that, as well as the Clear Future, because that one's going to be nice and soothing. And that one's overnight, because then when you're sleeping, your skin is able to really just renew itself and fix things that aren't able to be fixed during the day, because they're fighting away everything that you're coming into contact with. Mm-hmm. And then they have the Cellular Renewal Mask, which is really great for anybody who maybe has like dark spots they want to kind of lessen a little bit, texture issues, so anything like that. So getting into a little bit of a routine, having a little more of an advanced skincare routine, now is a great time to do that. So then when we emerge, we'll be like butterflies. Love coming it. Out of this with our glow ups. Right, that's the kids say these days, right? Yeah, so that is a great thing to start putting into your routine, whether during the day or in the evening when you're just sitting down and doing whatever you do.
Can I interrupt you 1 second?
Yeah.
Hold that thought. So I just got a question from somebody. If you guys aren't seeing Carolyn big in the main part of your screen, go up to the top right corner of your screen and make sure you're on speaker view. So you can click gallery view or speaker view. And if you're on a phone or an iPad, you're probably seeing it just fine. But if you're on the computer, you want to see speaker view. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so other little things to do so this routine is going to be quick, 5-ish minutes. But if you want to add a few other things like accessories to make yourself look even more put together, so you can do like a little scarf in your hair if you are a fan of just wearing a bun, or even if you just have short hair. It's a little of a retro look. It's kind of cute, but you can always just tuck this so that it's not like a big bow, and then it's just you have a little headband. Cute. And then if you wear glasses, which I see some of you guys have glasses on, that always helps me just to feel a little more put together. If you have different pairs of glasses, for different occasions, now's the time to play around with them. Okay, so let's get started on this quick little natural look. Zoom meeting ready. So I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is the chart that I have that Cheryl's going to send everybody.
Yep.
At the end of this, so that you guys can look at these. It's definitely because I scanned it in. It's more just the placement of where you would put the products on your face.
Yeah.
And obviously everything can be slightly different depending on your face shape and what feels comfortable. So it's, since this is a group setting, I'm just going to do more general, and it's not necessarily going to be super specific, which is fine. Okay, so I did put a little bit of my base on already. So in this kind of setting, try to have, depending on what your computer setup is though, natural light is great. If you're facing a window, or if you're not facing a window and your window's behind you, get like piece of white poster board. I know I'm like creating all these craft projects for you guys to put behind your computer screen so that it will reflect the light coming in from the window. So then you'll just look a little extra fresh. And that will do a lot of work that you don't have to do on yourself. But I use, Arbonne has a CC cream that's great because you don't necessarily need to do all of your makeup steps if you're just going to be on camera. I mean, don't waste your makeup unless it is like a routine thing and it makes you feel comforted by doing it, then of course go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I used a little bit of that just all over. I used a brush, but usually with a CC cream, you can use your fingers because then it'll warm it into the skin a little more. Sometimes CC creams can be a little thicker because they have SPF in them and then color correction. So using your fingers may be a little more helpful. But usually when I'm putting on any base or foundation, I'm just kind of buffing it into the skin, and then you always want to bring it down on your neck as well. So you just buff it everywhere. And then after you have that all on, you're going to do a little bit of concealer just where it's needed. So usually underneath your eyes area, and then if you have any stress blemishes, you just kind of cover those guys up a little bit more.
So what kind of brush are you using? Is it like we have a foundation brush in our brush set. I assume it'd be something like that with
Yep.
kind of.
Yes, and you can use that for concealer too because it's not super big.
Okay.
So yeah, that definitely works.
Okay. And while she's doing that, the CC cream that she was talking about, we have it with sunscreen and without, 4 different shades from fair to dark. So that's an easy one. And then concealer, I think we have 7 shades of concealer. So we can do quite a lot with that. And yes, Alyssa's pointing out, we do actually, not in the brush set, but we do have a concealer brush that is separate.
Perfect.
So yeah.
That's great. And usually, so for concealer,
yeah,
you're just gonna, it's usually just like a triangle here. So you're like flashlight to brighten up that eye area. Even though I'm hoping everybody is getting extra sleep, if you can, take a few naps here and there. So we can be nice and rested after all of this, ready to face the world.
So here's a question for right now. So I said we'd have questions after, but if one comes up that's really appropriate, I'll read it to you. So how do we get the concealer to not cake in under your, like in lines under your eyes?
Good question. So usually this is why I do my foundation concealer first. And that is because I'm not doing a lot of eyeshadow on my eyes. If I'm doing a lot of eyeshadow on my eyes, then I'll do eyeshadow first. But doing the concealer and foundation first, it'll give it time that if it feels like creasing or doing things, it can do that, and then I can smooth it out. And then you want to usually have like just a little kind of fluffy brush with a setting powder. So I just get a little bit on, and then you kind of press it into your concealer. And then usually it'll set it. You shouldn't have too many issues. A little bit of product goes a long way. So if you're using too much product, that might be why it's creasing.
Mm.
If you don't have your under eye area properly hydrated, it could be creasing. If it's overhydrated, it's creasing. So you just have to find that perfect little sweet spot, which you have time to figure out what that is.
Good point.
So there you go. So usually, obviously, depending on what your lighting is, you might have a big spotlight here on the skin. So that's where you want to put a little bit of powder, and then a little bit on the nose creases right here, and then your chin.
So this is setting powder, like our translucent setting powder.
Exactly. And when you're doing that, you just want to use a little bit and build it from there. Don't do too much because, again, you don't need to. Then we're going to do some bronzer. So if you have like a fluffy brush, and this is what's going to make the big difference in how alive you look, the bronzer and the blush, because depending on your lighting, again, you can just look kind of flat and a little wider than maybe you actually are, like how you actually look in real life. So the bronzer is going to help define that space. So go a little bit on your neck, and then up a little bit here.
And you're kind of going under your cheekbone, right?
Yes. So see how that side looks like nice and defined. I have some contours there, whereas this one's just kind of flatter. So, and this is more of a contour look. Now, if you want to have like a bronzed goddess look, you're gonna do your bronzer more on the front of your face and where you would be tan if you were out in the sun, which I hope everybody's getting outside and getting a little bit of vitamin D, just to stay healthy.
Yes, it's gorgeous here. I know not everybody who's on the Zoom lives here. We have Pennsylvania and Connecticut and maybe some Southeast as well, but it's still, I think it's gorgeous everywhere right now. So
yes, it is. Okay, so that's your bronzer, and then you do your blush. You can use a smaller fluffy brush, but you want to use a different brush than what you used with your bronzer. And you want to just get that right on this apple area and then brush back. And you can do a little more than maybe you normally would. And then usually after I do both of those, I go in with my foundation brush and I just blend all the edges out.
with the foundation brush.
Yeah, so that's like your eraser, or you can use your concealer brush. So if you feel like maybe you want a little too heavy on the blush or bronzer, you just go in with your brush and kind of buff it out of your skin, and you're fine. And you do have a little wiggle room. When you're on one of these meetings, generally your face is going to be in one of these tiny little squares, unless you're the speaker, and then I guess like me, you'll have your face bigger on the screen. But you're just trying to look a little more presentable. All right, so let's move on to your eyes, which black eyeliner. So this one is going to be different, and not everybody, maybe not everybody is into this, but we're going to go right into your lash line. So it's just going to lift the eye space a little bit. So you lift up that eye, you go up to a mirror, and then you just get it right where those lashes pop out of the skin.
I do see the difference.
So it's just like, boop, a little bit. And then you go to the other side. And it's easiest when you can use both hands. So try to have a mirror that you can walk up to so that you can see what you're doing. Then some mascara. Easy, easy, easy. And you can do top and bottom lashes or just your top.
And you guys keep the questions coming in the chat. I see some, and so I will do those in just a second, but feel free to type in the chat. And if you came on late, if you put your computer on speaker view, you'll see Carolyn's face a lot bigger instead of gallery view. Because we all want to see Carolyn's face really big.
Yay! Okay, so I just did it on the top. And then now you do your brows, and then we'll do highlight and lip, and then that's it. So usually I have a little spoolie thing. Maybe not everybody has that, but a brow gel or a pencil is just a quick, easy thing to define your brows. You really don't have to go overboard. Again, you're just in a little box.
Yeah, and we have a brow cream or a pencil. So is it
perfect
preference really? Pencil or cream gel?
Yeah. The cream gel is going to be probably faster. So it helps define that eye space. And you look put together. And usually when choosing your brow color, you either want to go, if you like a more natural look, you want to go one shade lighter than your natural brow color. Because if you go your exact shade, then you'll see when you fill in your brows, it's a little more dramatic than you expect. So I used like a blonde shade, like a ashy blonde, where my brow color is like a dark brown. So that looks a little more natural. But usually when I do fill in my brows with a pencil, I use a darker brown so that they can be a little more like statement brows. And then we have some highlight. So I just have a kind of cream one.
Yeah, and we have our bronzer highlighter cream stick.
Which is amazing. So do it right under that, right on that brow bone. So right under the brow. And then just pop that on the skin. And then right here. And it'll just make you have that nice, dewy, youthful glow. Because you're rested, you're taking care of your skin, you're drinking more water to combat all the wine that we're having each night. If you're drinking wine, maybe not everybody is. And then you can do a little bit on your Cupid's bow if you want to make your lips look a little fuller. Now, for your lip color, you can go natural if that's your jam. But since this is a really natural look and you maybe feel a little spicy today or, any day, use a brighter color. So I have a red. Okay. And that's your nice natural look. And it looks like I'm ready for a day of meetings, talking to clients or, colleagues, whatever you're doing.
And I would say it looks like you have a lot more makeup on than you do.
Exactly. And it'll take even less time when you're not because you're not going to be talking yourself through it. Or maybe you are, if that's, the easiest way for you to do your makeup. But it's really easy. Usually this is how I do my makeup actually every day. When I'm working, I don't usually wear a lot because I'd rather sleep in or I have to take care of my dogs. So I have it lined up on my vanity. So it's just like shots. You just go one step right into the next. It's just quick. But that's the easiest way to have a makeup routine that's not something that you're stressed about doing. And you're like, I just can't even handle this today. I'm not going to do it at all. This way you're doing a little something, feel human, even if you're not really interacting with people. Yeah.
Love it.
There you go.
Love it. Okay, so let me see what questions we had here because I saw some popping in. Okay. Sorry, one second. So setting powder, sometimes you hear that really only younger people should use it because it's going to emphasize wrinkles on older skin. What do you say to that?
So it depends. When you use a lot of it, yes, for sure. And that's on any skin type. it will emphasize any type of texture. So youthful skin can have just as much texture as more mature skin. It just is a different type. So you want to make sure that you're using your proper skincare. So that's where really everything needs to start. Make sure you're hydrating your skin really nicely. And that's why the CC cream is good, because that's going to be also a little level of hydration and make the skin feel plump, and it won't sit in. Now, if you have really dry skin, you may not even need setting powder, but that's something that you have to figure out, like go a day without it and see how everything looks. And maybe you don't need it right away. Generally, if you're at home, you're close to your stuff. So if you have one meeting and you look great, and then you go and have lunch, and then you sit outside to soak up some rays, and you're like, oh, I got a little shiny, go put on your powder before your next meeting. It's it's easy to do that. Obviously, that's not necessarily going to work in the real world when we get back to that, when we get back to the real world. But you can always have a compact or have it a little bit with you. If it's a big loose powder thing, you can always get a little like sample jar and put a little bit in there.
Yeah.
If you need to carry it in your purse. Usually those stay pretty sealed, like sealed pretty tight, so you shouldn't have to worry about it exploding in your purse. It'd be really annoying. But the hydration is key for it not setting into the lines, and using a little bit of product than using too much product. So yes, even if you have lines or wrinkles, you can still use powder if you get a little shiny. You just don't want to use a lot of it.
Yeah. Okay. That's
I think
helpful.
that answered it.
And we actually have a new line called Biohydria for skin that I've been mixing in with the anti-aging because it's super
Oh,
hot.
that's awesome.
So that's probably a good answer for somebody that struggles with that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Question: was the eyeliner pencil or liquid? It was pencil.
Pencil.
Okay.
So anytime you're putting it in there where there's obviously going to be some moisture because it's near your eye area, hopefully your eyes aren't really dry. If your eyes are really dry, maybe don't put eyeliner there because it could just irritate your eye area. But you want it to be smudge proof if you can, and I think yours is.
Stays on pretty well. Yeah.
Your pencil is. But if you're really worried about it going somewhere, get it in those lashes more than on the ledge.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes. And then another question: when would you put eyeliner on your lower eye? Because you only did it on the top, right?
I only did it on the top. So that is a personal preference. Whenever I'm doing somebody's makeup, I always ask, because some people are of the generation where eyeliner all the way around every day, no matter what. You can't live without it. And then some people hate it. Some people hate it and they think it's too heavy, but everybody's different. And if you want to put it on the bottom, you can do that. It obviously is going to be more made up.
Mhm.
Usually what I like to do is I'll use black on the top to really lift and show that nice stark contrast between my eye color and make the lashes look fuller. And then on the bottom lash line, I will use a like bronzy shade or like a brown, along those lines, and that can make my blue eyes pop. So that's really good for, so green eyes, you can use like a plum shade, which is really pretty. Obviously you can use black top and bottom, but if you want to have some fun and make your eyes pop a little more, then try different colors. You can try like a green. If you have hazel eyes, use like a forest green, which is really pretty, or sage a green. If I think you
We
do you
do
guys
have that. Yep.
yeah. But a lot, usually along those lines, navy is pretty too. But play around with it and really look at your eyes. I don't think anybody looks at their eye color as much as they should. Obviously, I look at everybody's eye colors and am up close and personal with people. That's why I can't work, because it's not social distancing. But nobody's eyes are really one shade. So tomorrow, walk up to a window, have a mirror, and look at your eyeballs. and see all the different colors that actually make up your eye color. So sometimes if you have blue eyes, you might have a little bit of yellow or a little bit of like a Dr. Pepper color, some navy, some green. Green eyes, you can have some gold flecks, or you can have navy mixed in. Brown, you can have, it's not just brown. I hate it when I just have brown eyes. Nobody just has brown eyes. You can have even like a little bit of a violet color in there. So use the colors that you use around your eye area can help bring those out. And it doesn't have to be, let me slap on some green eyeshadow, or let me slap on some bright blue. It can be a brown that is maybe more of a cooler toned brown. So it may seem like it has like a plum or a blue tinge to it, but it's not screaming at you. And like a bronze color. Bronze is amazing. There's so many different types of bronze, and that is probably a universally flattering color, because usually the bronze shade, they have like a gold or maybe even a little silver mixed in, and maybe a little plum or magenta even, and that can be subtle enough but have enough power to make your eye color separate out so that you can see all the different colors that make up your iris. So
Cool.
it's a little homework for you guys. Love your eyes.
Excellent. I've never thought about that before. Okay, so I know we need to get on to our jazzy look, but there are a few more here. So let me see if I can do these kind of quickly. Is it a good idea to put makeup primer under the CC cream?
You totally can. So for this look, I did the least amount of steps just to keep it easy so that you don't feel like you need to. But if your primer is doing something for you that you feel like you need it to, like if it's shine control or pore minimizing or radiance or anything like that, then of course you can feel free to do that. In the next look, we do the whole shebang. So it's just, that's up to you.
Okay. If you have almost translucent brows, would you match your hair color basically?
Yes. So translucent brows, if they're very, very light, that can be tough. It all depends on, do you have the hair or is it like almost non-existent? So if they're almost non-existent, you want to use a pencil, and you want to use probably your hair color. You can't, depending on if you want a stronger brow, go more of like your root or your underneath tone, because if I'm guessing you've blonde hair or maybe auburn or redhead, generally that's when you have the really light brows. And then just do the pencil in a little bit and then use a little angled brush to kind of feather it and smooth it out. Now, if you have the hair, the gel is going to be great. That's going to give a really nice natural emphasis. You just want to go with an ashy shade so that it doesn't make your brows look like they're glowing off your face. Because sometimes with the blondes, depending, they can be a little orangey or reddish, and then it's on top of your skin, which may already have a little bit of a red tinge to it. So then it's just like fiery brows.
Yeah. Okay. Do you say anything different about eyeliner depending on whether or not someone wears glasses? Is there any change?
Again, personal preference. Obviously, if you're wearing glasses, you can always do a little more eyeliner just to make your eyes pop. And it also depends on the frame you have. So these glasses are a thicker frame. So whenever I wear these, usually I make sure I do my brows so that they can still be seen. And then I'll do like a liquid liner over top sometimes.
Okay.
So if you like eyeliner, do your eyeliner regardless of the glasses.
All right. There's a couple of more eye questions, but maybe we'll just build those in since I think you're going to do more eyes now.
Yeah.
Anyway. And so let me just quickly show you guys what she just did one more time. So this was the natural look, and I'll make sure that I can get this out to whoever needs it. while Carolyn rubs off some of what she just did, which, by the way, we have something for that too, these facial cleansing cloths. Okay, so that was, I don't want to take a lot of time, but I want to look really good on the Zoom, basically. And
Yes.
hold on to your hat, because now we're doing this.
Let's jazz it up, guys. Okay, so I kind of buffed it out a little bit. I'm not going to do too much more on the, I'm going to do the face again, but this is where you would do your face primer. And then eyeshadow primer.
Yes, we have that too.
Which is great. So, and this is where we would start our eyes first before our face. So get that eyeshadow primer on. You want to put it from your lash line all the way up to your brow, that whole space. You can also try this if you still are finding that things are creasing underneath. Try to put a little bit of the eyeshadow primer under your eyes and see if it helps before you do your concealer. I've done that before when I have clients that even if they're using super waterproof, things tend to run. Like their eyeliner or mascara transfers or runs. So that can help with that. Or if you have really oily eye area spaces, do a little bit of the primer before you do concealer and everything like that. Okay, so eyeshadow primer, eyeliner. I'm gonna add just a little more. Okay. On this eye, I'm gonna do the crease, more of like the cut crease, the contour look. And then on this eye, it's gonna be like a soft smoke. So it's just lash line blended up a little bit. So those are generally two looks that you can take more of a natural approach to, or you can take it to the stars if you want.
Ramp it up.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to just use a generic eyeshadow palette, but Arbonne does have, do you have the cool palette and the warm palette, right?
We do, and I don't know if everybody's seen that before. So there's what am I holding in my hand? This is warmer, this is cooler, but quite a variety of colors in both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both great. So first you want to do is a neutral shade. So look at your skin tone and figure out what your neutral shade is, because not everybody's is the same. And then you're just gonna pat that over top of the primer to kind of give you a nice base to get started with. So I'm going to do the crease look first, and then we'll go over and do this other side. So you're going to use like a bigger, kind of fluffier brush to do that. And then I'm going to take a tapered brush for the crease, and I'm going to go in with a kind of medium-ish shade. So it's like a mauve-y taupe. And I'm just gonna get that right where your crease is, and then blend it up a little bit. Don't blend it down, blend it up towards your brow, but not, you don't want them to meet. We still want to have that space there. You're just blending it out so that there's no harsh lines. And you want to go a little bit at a time and build that product in there.
You wouldn't choose a super dark color here?
No, no. And even if you do eventually, you want to start with a medium shade to get that base work blended out and nice and tapered. And then if you want it to be like an intense cut crease, then you would go in with your darker shade to add that over top, and then you blend that out. You don't want any harsh lines unless it's eyeliner. So like when you color something in, and then if you're that kid that goes along and then traces everything in black, That's me. And that's what black eyeliner does. All right, so we're filling in this crease area, blending up a little bit. Just lifts, opens the eye space a little bit like that. And then doing a more of a highlight shade. So, and yes, even if you have older lids, you can use something with a little shimmer. Don't use sparkle necessarily. I don't
The
even
question
use
I was going to ask you.
Yes.
Shimmer, but not sparkle.
Yeah, I mean, unless you really like sparkle and that's your jam, you're going to do it anyways. And that's okay. Always do powder first and then do that over top. Since that's not a liquid, it's kind of like a creamish to powder formula. Okay, so we got that highlighted, and then we're gonna do a dark color. So this is where you can either use like a dark brown, dark plum, dark green, or black, really whatever you want. And then you're gonna go along that lash line.
So this is still eyeshadow.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys can see very well.
Yeah.
So, and then you can always, if you're a wing person, use your brush to extend it out a bit. So this is almost the groundwork before we do our liquid liner. So that's that. And then you go in with your liquid liner to clean it up, make it look nice and defined. And usually when using liquid liner, you want to do little tick marks almost to get that lash line nice and clean. Unless you're a pro and you can just go with one swoop, but build up to that. Otherwise, your eyeliner will just be a smoky eye.
If I knew how to do a poll, I would poll to see who is a pro at liquid liner, because that I'm scared of liquid liner.
It's so fun. I love liquid liner so much. So there you go. And then you're gonna do obviously more mascara. You can do eyeliner on the bottom if you want. And this is where I would go in with Q-tip and maybe a little bit of concealer or eye cream, whatever you have near you. And I take that Q-tip and I go in and I clean up any shadow that fell. So I'm using concealer because I technically already have makeup on. If I didn't have makeup on, I would use eye cream.
I remember you teaching us that at the event in person, and I was floored. I never thought of using eye cream as a cleanup.
Yes, it's awesome because then you're getting a little extra hydration. It swipes it away. Hopefully your eye cream's not like super greasy, but nobody's really going to be, most eye creams aren't super greasy. But it helps just clean, hydrate, and lifts. Boop. All right, so let's do the other eye. Unless are there any questions on this look?
Okay, let me check the chat. Love the eye cream tip. We answered the sparkle. So I might interrupt your flow, but this is a really good question. Do you have any particular color tips for people with gray hair?
Gray hair. So is there, I'm guessing generally gray hair, do you use a like purple shampoo to keep it a nice cool gray, or is it feel a little warmer? Is that
If you want to, you can unmute yourself, or you can just put it in the chat. I don't know if she wants to be public or not.
Well, that's fine. But if it's cool gray, you're gonna want to use cooler tones. So use navy is really great with gray. I mean, any color combinations that you would maybe wear, those are what are gonna look good. My hair was more of a gray last year, so I had to definitely change up my makeup routine because I went from like a warm strawberry blonde, auburn, blondish to gray and lavender. So I stuck to like berries and using mostly just black eyeliner, using more of like the cool palette that Arbonne has, those colors, instead of using bronze, like super warm, bronzy, like glowy goddess look. I could still do the glowy goddess, but it wasn't like the warm golds. I stuck more to like silvery champagne, maybe little rose gold. You can definitely do some rose gold in there.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
Thank you. All right, hit us with smoky eye.
All right. Now it's a soft smoky, but it's still exciting. It's probably one of the most common looks that I do. Because you can do it on anybody. Any eye shape. Generally for this look, you want to have the eye space where when you open your eyes, you can still see a little bit of your lid. If you have more deep set eyes, it's gonna all disappear, which is fine. But you can always do, if you have deepish set eyes, but you still have like the brow space, you can do the crease and blend that up, even though like you'll see that, but you won't necessarily see the liner part, if that makes sense. Okay, so eyeliner, again, we do our neutral shade, kind of prep everything.
And while you're doing that, Melissa, can I ask you to have a look at everybody that's on and randomly pick a name to win our door prize? Can you be the boss of that?
Sure. How about Krisha Caldwell?
Oh, well, gosh, that was lucky. Awesome. So that is going to be a free overnight jelly from the prep work line. So we'll coordinate. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So neutral shade all over. Then you're going to take a medium shade. So I am going to go with a bronzy medium shade. With a little brush. You can use your an angled brush if you want to get the product on there, and then you can use another brush to blend. But I have like this little fluffy brush, so I'm gonna go right along that lash line, and you want it to be tapered a little bit, so thinner on the inner corner, and then it gets thicker out here. And then I'm gonna go in with this brush that I used in the crease, and I'm gonna blend it up. You always want to blend, 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 and then blend some more, because you can always build the color. So even if your blending kind of makes the color not as pigmented, then you just keep adding. So like your shading. Okay, so that's nice and subtle. Obviously you can make it more intense if you want. Blend. Then we're gonna do that highlight shade. And that's gonna go just right over top and then blend it up a little bit. Then I'm gonna go back with the medium shade just to make sure everything looks nice and blended. so you can see a little bit. Then I'm going to go in with the dark color. So I'm going to just do black. And get that right along that lash line. And then if you want, you can blend that a little bit if you want it to be a little more intense. So blend, and then go in with a little bit more. Flick it out. And then you finish with your liquid liner. So all these looks are easy to change or level up or take a level down depending on the colors that you use. And when you're building it to make it darker and more intense, you want to start light, build it, and then just keep adding more intensity, but just make sure that you start the darker color here and then you slowly blend it up, if that makes sense.
So what's really the definition of a smoky eye? Because I always feel nervous about that because I feel like it's just going to be dark everywhere.
So technically you could consider this a smoky eye. So this, I call it like a soft smoke. So smoky eye is where you take a darker color here and then you just take the darker color and then you blend it all the way up, and then you can use like a medium shade and use that to kind of taper out the color. So it's smoke. So where smoke, it's like more concentrated here and then it filters out and it lessens. So that's like it going towards your brow. You obviously don't want the smoke to get like the darkest shade to go too crazy past your crease, and that's where the blending happens. Past the crease is where it's all graduated and just blended out. Seamless is really what you want. So then more mascara. And a smoky eye, you can also do smoke on the bottom, obviously, or you can just keep your smoke up top, depending on what you are comfortable with. So I'm going to go in and clean up a little bit. Roll it away.
And I remember you telling me, because I still am trying to break the habit of doing my eyes last. I remember you telling me that even if you couldn't tell, there was always a mess there, right? You should always,
Yes.
Yeah.
Always. Always. Because you're not going to see it until you start putting your concealer and you're like, why are my dark circles getting worse? It's because it's eyeshadow. So always clean up. Even if it doesn't look like it didn't really look like I had much there, but the Q-tip had stuff on it. So always clean up. So now I'm going to go and do a little foundation, do my brows, and then you guys will see that.
And so you're okay with fingers with CC cream and you prefer a brush with foundation. Is that fair to say?
Yes and no. If you are a person that really likes to just use your fingers, as long as you wash your hands, I mean, everybody's washing their hands even more now, so you should be good. You can totally use your fingers. When you're doing your foundation and concealer, just use what you need. If you don't need a lot, don't force it. Don't think that, oh, I'm doing this more jazzed up look, I really need to have like a lot of stuff on my skin. You don't, unless you feel like you really need it. But again, always blend it down. I just like using brushes because that's what I use on my clients. I mean, I use my fingers to blend things depending on if it's needed and to warm it into the skin, especially like a cream product usually works really well with your fingers. So yeah, you can use either. There are rules, but there really aren't. And you're at home. You don't have the makeup police there to write you a fine if you do it wrong. So you're good.
Those darn makeup police.
I know. Okay, and then your concealer. And when you're doing your eyeshadow, if some gets in this inner corner, you want to try to keep this somewhat light so that it doesn't make you look tired. All right, we're concealed. Let's do some bronzer. A little bit up here. Blush.
I feel like we should have a soundtrack.
I know. It can be boring watching someone else do.
No,
well,
I
I
just
people
thinking
do
it
it
would
all
be
the time,
perfect
actually.
if there
Everybody
were
watches
music,
videos.
you know?
So when you're doing your blush, you just, smiling does help because then you can see on the apples of your cheeks. And then you just like blend it down and up. So like a Nike swoosh. And then highlight. And you want to keep it here on your face. I mean, if you really are crazy with highlighter, you can just do like your whole entire face if you want. And then you can just have your high beams on all day.
There was a question about demoing the Arbonne one. So while you're doing that, I'll say,
Yes, do it.
You've seen this one, I know.
I have. I used that on you
Yeah.
for your shoot.
Yeah. So there's a light end, which is what she's doing now, right here. And where did you just do it? Oh, under your brow, right?
So right here, nose, and then, yeah, brow.
And then this actually has a bronzer end, which you could do if you wanted to instead of the powder bronzer. Yeah.
And you can do a nice bronzy glow with that too. So where you can put a little bit of that on here and then use the other shade right here, and then you just look like you stepped off of a yacht at the Riviera or something. Because that's what everybody looks like automatically, right? So a brow pencil, I'm gonna fill in my brows. Even though the cream, it's a little difficult to do anything afterwards because it's set and it's there, which is great. That's what you want. But just so you can see a more done up brow with a darker pencil. So usually if you have like a tail issue where you feel like they're kind of light, pencil will help fill that in, whereas the cream or the gel might not give you the emphasis you really want. So if you do a combination, you always want to do pencil first and then the other one over top. That's a nice brow. See the difference? This one's a little more intense. Obviously, I need to get my roots done. Everything is really dark, but everybody's dealing with that now. So when filling in your brows, just kind of stick to your natural shape that's there. If you don't have the hair, then you just gotta eyeball it. Like look at your brow bone area and just see what would make sense. Start small and then build big, if that makes sense. And what you can do is most people have learned the, lining everything up. So you do here, and then the tip of your nose is where your arch generally is, and then this is where the end of your brow is.
Oh.
So that's your little, so you can always mark those little spots and then fill your brow from there. So since that's using your nose, which everybody's nose is unique to their face, that'll give you probably your most accurate brow shape. Now, everybody can be, you know, you can take creative, you know, license with that if you want to have a different brow shape. Obviously, there's a lot of different brow trends that are always rotating around. So if you want to try something else, totally can. Okay. And then lipstick, where I have it's not as red, it's a little more of a rosy color, but it's my neutral.
That's probably our Lotus. Lotus looks good on everyone.
Yeah. So this is just like a rosy shade that looks good with any makeup look, whether it's like super dramatic or not as dramatic. So there you go. And then you can always use some setting spray. And there you go. That's just, usually you want to shake it up first.
Okay,
Shake up your setting spray and then close your eyes, obviously, and don't talk. You just missed it on.
So now
your
that
arm like this far away from your face.
okay. Now that we're talking about setting spray, I wonder if people are having issues with setting powder, maybe is this a good substitute?
Yes, definitely. Even if you are using setting powder, you still want to finish with your setting spray because that just seals it all in. But definitely try just using the setting spray and no powder. And what you can do if you don't use powder, after you do the setting spray, go in with your concealer brush and just kind of pat it on, roll it out. So to help with the creases, you just kind of roll it like this. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that helps a lot with getting the product to be smooth and just to like fill in the creases, but lay a little flatter. So that motion. Or you can use your fingers and just go like that.
Okay.
And that's also where you can put a little bit of the highlight. I know it's on the chart, but lighten that little area up again. Which again, it's not something you're necessarily going to see as much on this. It'll be when you're out in public and that sun is just hitting your face right and everybody's just in awe of your youthful glow that you have going on. So yeah, so the yellow spots are all the highlight colors. And then obviously you don't necessarily want to use exactly how these colors look on this with the colored pencil, but it helps you see a little easier the placement of things.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah.
And I'll share that with whoever I need to send it out to. So questions about what she's done with the with the let's add a little bit more to it look. Anybody?
Yeah.
Questions? Oh, there was one about when to put foundation on the brush or always on skin first. Oh, I'm not totally sure what that means. Do you know what that means?
So usually I put my foundation, because I mix a few shades, but that's just me because I always have a bunch and I'm trying different products. So I usually mix it on the back of my hand and then I use the brush and get it on my face. But I wouldn't put the product on your brush and then on your face.
Okay.
Like using your hand as a palette, it helps it so that you can control the amount that's going on your face a little better. So start with 1 pump. Don't do 3 pumps and then waste all of your foundation. Then you're going to run through it like that, which Arbonne is probably fine with because then you have to order more. But
You do say one pump. We do.
yes, one pump and you get a little bit and then you just dot it and then you kind of blend out from the center. And then if you're using your fingers, you're using your fingers. But that's usually the best way to do any foundation, any base color. Yeah, I use my hand. I normally have eyeliner because the liquid eyeliner I use like does not go anywhere until I use my eye makeup remover. So I usually have makeup all over my backs of my hands.
Yeah.
I miss it.
Okay, does anyone else have a question? You can actually unmute yourself if you want to ask it, or you can type it. I think we answered everything that was in there so far. I'll have another look and make sure. Back to eyes real quick. Are
Okay.
you doing like opposite your eye color? Are you matching? Well, you're not matching.
Not matching, but you can't. Like if you have blue eyes, you're allowed to use navy. Like it's fine. It's totally fine. I guess in a way I'm using a little bit opposite because a bronze could read a little orangey, and blue and orange, it's not opposite, but they're complementary colors. So in a way I'm doing that, but it's like a modernized version. It's the more natural, face friendly version of complementary colors. So you look at the tones and like the undertones of the shade to see what they have in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eye is the key question. So if you're using other colors besides black liner, would you do that on, could you do that on the top lid as well? Or should you just use black?
Of course, you totally can. If you think black is like way too harsh, go with a dark brown or a dark plum or nice dark navy. I've definitely played around with all of those. I just like, if you want to have the best contrast to make your eyes pop, black. The other ones will just be a little softer, a little muted, but they can also play up your eye color a little bit. Yeah. So you can do that.
And she's saying even on the underside of the top lid. So you're saying
Yes.
brown and that's all fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And obviously if you have like translucent eyelashes, black might be a little harsh for you, and you have to do a few more things to make sure that it looks good. So when I've had clients where I do that, it's really good to use the darker color there because it colors that base of those lashes, because your mascara isn't always going to get there without making a huge mess all over your eyes, and then you have a whole nother issue you have to deal with. So coloring that in is going to make your eye space look more defined, and it's going to make the look more fluid.
Awesome. Okay. And we just got, I know it's after 9, so I appreciate you giving us a couple of extra minutes, but we just,
Oh, that's fine.
You're like, I'm not going anywhere.
I have no plans.
We just got a great question to wrap up with, and so I'll share that one with you. But first, I do want to put in our plug that if you're already a preferred client, or if you would be a new preferred client, this month, all month, any order of $150 or more, you get the 20% off, and you also get a free item. Everybody.
Wow.
Everybody who's a preferred client, no exceptions, and all new preferred clients. So if you feel you might need to spruce up the makeup, it's a good time.
Yeah, now is the time, because then you have so much time to practice.
Good point.
Different look every day.
That's a good point. Okay, so, and for ordering, yes, good question. So there's about 5 to 7 different consultants with guests on this Zoom right now. So what I will say is that how will I make that simple? Good Lord. You will want, if you're already a preferred client, you can go to arbonne.com and you can log in, and you will be connected to your correct consultant, and it will be absolutely no problem. And you'd log in with your email and your password. And if you don't know your password, it will give it to you. If you don't know how to do that, just contact the person that invited you, and we'll be checking in with you guys also, because like I said, there were about 7 different of us inviting guests. Oh, okay. So wrap up question. I think this is a perfect way to end it. some tips for keeping powders and lipsticks clean and fresh, when to wash, when to clean, how to clean in general.
Okay, so for powders, generally you don't have to do much because it's a dry surface. But what you can do is take a tissue and wipe it off after you're done using it. So that will help erase any oils that maybe got from your face to your brush to the product. If you really, really want to clean it even more, you can do a little bit of alcohol spray to do that. For cleaning your lipsticks, especially if you wore your makeup and you were sick with any kind of illness, disinfect, especially your lipsticks. Well, maybe if you were sick, you might not have been wearing makeup, but even the beginning stages when maybe you were just a little sick, I guess, especially with the virus that's going around, you have the incubation period where it could be getting on your things. So use alcohol and you just wipe off the whole lipstick. If you're really worried about it, just toss it, which sucks, but yeah. Depends on what you were sick with, obviously. And then cleaning your brushes. Usually what I do is I just have a bunch of brushes. I use a foundation brush maybe 2 days, and then I switch to a new one because it's a liquid product and it's going on your face. I do keep my brushes in a drawer so I don't just leave them out on the counter because dust can settle onto them. I'm allergic to dust a little bit, so I could get hives or break out from it, so you want to be careful about that. Yes, brushes can be nice and pretty sitting out on your counter, but just try to keep them in a drawer, or if you have like a brush tube thing, you can just close it up after you finish. But you want to try to either clean your foundation brush, unless you have more than one, after every 2 to 3 days. Anything that you've used liquid with that often, and then the powder once a week.
So I need to be better about that.
Everybody does. It's honestly, it's something you're just like, another thing to do. Well, now you have time to clean your brushes. So get into the routine. And then it's like Sunday night, brush cleaning night with my wine. And you can get brush cleaner. You can use Dawn if you don't want to have if you don't want to have an alcohol-based product, which Arbonne, your brushes are probably all synthetic fibers.
Yeah.
So using an alcohol base is not going to ruin them.
Okay.
That's more with natural hair brushes, just like with your hair, how it can get split ends. Natural hair brushes, they can get split ends. But with the Arbonne brushes, since it's synthetic, you don't have to worry about it. It's just a uniform composition. You're all good. But Dawn is great. You can just put it in a little glass and then dip the brush in a little bit, rub it into your hand, and then under the faucet, rinse it until it's clear. So,
okay.
Yeah. And usually it's pretty quick. And then you put them all on a towel, dry them off, and then let them sit on the edge to dry overnight.
Okay.
So that the air can circulate around the whole brush so that it's not just one side.
Yep. And I will say for people with super sensitive skin, our Calm face wash is one that a lot of people use to wash their brushes. So that's
Genius.
A good choice too.
And that's going to keep those bristles, even though they are synthetic, it'll keep them soft too.
Yeah.
The fluffier ones. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was great getting to hang out